Hello and welcome to the Smart Chiropractor Show. I'm Dr. Jeff Langman here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch. Thank you so much for tuning in each and every Tuesday. And right at the top, we'll remind you, if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the Smart Chiropractor YouTube channel. If you're checking this out on social media, click those notifications and don't miss a segment. Why? Because we produce the show each and every Tuesday. We have some awesome segments lined up, including marketing, business, mindset, featured guests, a lot of stuff you do not want to miss out on. This week is no exception. Jason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been very exciting. Besides the summer being wonderful, we've been launching the Payday Practice. The feedback has been terrific. We've launched the Payday Practice Accelerator training for those that read the book, get the concept, go, brilliant, I'm in. How do I do it? Can you help me? Yes, we can. That's been launched as well. Super exciting to see all these ideas turn into reality. Grateful for the feedback, and I'm excited to be here yet again today.
I could not agree more. We're going to talk Payday Practice Accelerator during our segment. We're also going to talk a little bit about what we're up to with the Payday Practice book, and that starts with mindset. So without further ado, let's kick into our mindset segment on today's show. Welcome to the Mindset segment on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. The big question we asked ourselves early on in the process of writing the Payday Practice, how to cover your monthly expenses with monthly recurring revenue, one day guaranteed. We asked ourselves, what would if Tony Robbins, guys like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Tim Ferris, Seth Godin, if they came together and thought about building a healthcare practice, how would they go about it? We firmly believe that it would be a payday practice. Jason, why don't you talk down a little bit about why we believe that's the case and what docs out there really need to pay attention to. So many docs follow these guys online, love what they do. We think there's a direct connection between Payday Practice and what their messaging is. What is that connection and why do docs need to pay attention?
Well, 100%. And it all starts with our mindset. All of these authors, mentors in many ways, have influenced, I know, me personally, you as well, I believe, in many ways. I think I'm a little bit more of a Tony Robbins fan than you are, just for clarity and all. Not that he's perfect, but man, he has done amazing work with truly the highest level people on the planet. That's just what it is, and what he's done, what he's accomplished, and what he's achieved. And that's part of the first. I'm going to break down each of these gentlemen, what they represent, and how that really is reflected in the Payday Practice concept, and what it is we're hopefully inspiring chiropractors to take on. And Tony Robbins, I think, is the first place to start. When you think inspiration, many people do think Tony Robbins, because he knows how to really push your limits, help you bring out your best, and not just for your own benefit, but bring out your best so that you can be of greatest contribution to others. Whether you are spiritual in nature or business oriented in nature, all roads lead to being of more service, providing greater value, doing more than what you're paid for, and having an attitude of gratitude and confidence that really is what starts this whole idea. When we talk about teaching and inviting consistently, that starts with the inner belief and understanding that you know something, that you've got knowledge, that you want to share it with other people, not because you need the money, not because it's good marketing, which it is, but because you do know things of value that other people will benefit from learning from you. That's the spirit, that's the truth. And that really is the main motivating factor for why we believe Tony Robbins would be all for this. The second part of all of that, I guess that's the second part of all of that, is we did coincidentally, if you believe in such a thing, just watch Tony Robbins release a brand new book called Life Force. And wouldn't you know it, our prediction happens to be quite true, because if you read his book, you will find that it sends you to a website, or I should say two websites, and both of those websites are in fact membership and subscription models. It's exactly what we've been doing. Let's be clear, none of these authors have officially endorsed anything we're saying. We are again, saying we believe they would do this. And our evidence for that is Tony just did it. So he's got his book and he's driving people to a membership program and or a subscription program for ongoing monthly supplements. And again, I'll reiterate the same type that we're recommending. Subscribe and save everybody every day. Supplements that promote your health and well-being throughout your lifetime. So that's the model, that's the thought process, and that's why we believe Tony would be all in. Seth Godin, when we developed this idea of minimum viable monthly income, it actually was an inspiration from reading his book, This Is Marketing. I'd highly recommend you read it as well. And one of the things that is a trend in these authors like Seth Godin is he teaches the concept of building a tribe. And when he teaches the concept of building a tribe or building an audience, what he teaches is that you don't need to appeal to everyone. In fact, you shouldn't try to appeal to everyone. You should really hone down your message and think through what's the lowest number of people that you actually need in order to support your cause, to support your business. And he calls it a minimum viable audience. You may have also heard the inspiration from, I believe the author is Eric Spies, the Something Startup. And he talks about the concept of a minimum viable product. When you're a startup company, instead of building a product or building an app or building something that is the best version and waiting until it's at its best, they again talk about the opposite, which is, well, what's the lowest, least good product? We say around here, a good something is better than a perfect nothing. And the sooner you can bring a product to market and get feedback from the market, you can then iterate and make it better. Those concepts from transforming not the best, but understanding what the least is the inspiration for where we came up with minimum viable monthly income. What's the least amount of money you must earn to not feel financially stressed out? So Seth talks about being your authentic self by building an audience of people that want to learn from you, that authentically are aligned with you. One of his taglines in the book, This Is Marketing, is that people like us do things like this. And it's that type of tribal conversation and community we believe would encourage Seth Godin to want to also promote the idea of a payday practice, finding followers who already believe what you're talking about, as opposed to trying to convert them by advertising deep discounts and hoping you can transform a deep discount or a massage into the desire for ongoing chiropractic care. Well, as far as Gary Vee goes, many of you know he is the guy who started the idea of crushing it and hustling, and the idea of jab, 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 hook. That's the idea of building your online following, of where, we very much got inspired with teach and invite consistently. Jab, jab, jab is provide value, provide value, provide value. Hook is then make an offer, your call to action. And so again, teach and invite consistently is a healthcare provider's translation of jab, 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 hook. Provide value, encourage people to want to know more about what it is that you're teaching and that you're passionate about. And those people who follow you on an ongoing basis will want more information or to join you or to learn from you or to have access to you, attend your events, buy your products, read your books, etc. In fact, exactly what Gary Vee does. Moving on to Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He talks about automating revenue. He talks about building assets. And one of your greatest assets is your email list. You may think of it as your hands. You may think of it as your building. You may think of it as your portfolio. We think of your greatest asset as your email list. Why? Because that is the list of people that you theoretically would think know, like, and trust you. It's most likely the people that are either following you online or who have been past or current patients or clients in your practice. And that is what Seth talks about as a tribe, people who have said, yeah, I want to learn more. Yeah, I like what you're up to. Kiyosaki talks now about how do you generate money from your assets? How do they generate revenue? And so it's that thought process of really leveraging your assets, leveraging your email list, not for just a business idea, but because if you put all these ideas together, that is your target audience. Those are the easiest people. That is what they call the low-hanging fruit, the stuff that's easy to grab and it's ripe and ready to go. And last but not least, Tim Ferris, I believe, changed at least society as we know it here in America, probably somewhere places worldwide as well, when he launched the 4-hour work week. Now, I don't know too many people who are actually working 4 hours only, but the concept was that you should automate whatever you can automate. And that's what the inspiration is behind the Smart Chiropractor. Automating your social posts, automating your emails, automating your in-office streaming video. So you have a coordinated annual calendar, monthly curriculum, weekly topics, and daily posts, all automated for you. When you put all these geniuses together, they each have their own slice of the pie. We've put that pie together. We call it the Payday Practice. And for all those different inspirations I know we've received from them, we have been inspired to put together the chiropractic version, the Payday Practice. How do you generate the least amount of money to reduce your financial stress and build automation so you can grow your audience and teach and invite consistently? Add in your e-commerce store and you've got the perfect formula to be able to practice like you've always wanted to, not the way you think is most profitable because you need the money. It's time to take back control of your practice. Practice with financial freedom so that you can really provide the types of services to the types of people in the types of business models you most want to. If you haven't read the book, please do. If you had read the book, please consider letting us help you figure out what the best membership and subscription model is for you by joining our 30-day Accelerator training program. That's going on right now. Depending on when you're watching it, I know we'll be doing it again in the future. We'll have an evergreen version of it at some point. So please check it out. These geniuses have done an amazing job, really inspiring many, many businesses. We wanted to make sure we translated it for chiropractors specifically. Please make sure you read the book. We think it might just be the most important book a chiropractor could read in today's day and age to prepare yourself for the future. Jeff, your thoughts?
That was a fantastic explanation. Great job. I put up on the screen thepaydaypractice.com. Docs, if you're listening and watching and you have not picked up your copy, join the 1,000+ docs who have. You can pick up a free digital copy. We are gifting it to our audiences for a limited time. You're going to see it pop up on Amazon and everywhere else shortly, but you can grab a digital copy for free right now at thepaydaypractice.com. And as Jason said, if you want to put it into action, we encourage you to check out the Accelerator training. We're going to talk about that more at the end of the Smart Chiropractor show today and dive into some of those details. But the gist of it, monthly recurring revenue is critical for practice success long term. It starts by identifying who your ideal clients are. It then goes into really providing the complete patient experience. It should never feel like selling. It's all about serving. We are happy to show you how, and visit thepaydaypractice.com. Pick up a copy, dive in, have some fun with it, ask us questions, and feel free to hop online, geek out with other docs who are going through the same process right now, figuring things out. I know there's a lot of excitement around it. We're pumped. We hope you are as well. And without further ado, I think it is time for us to kick on over to our Research That Matters segment on today's show. Welcome to Research That Matters on today's Smart Chiropractor show. Let's bring that up. It is July. That means our monthly campaign is all around headaches, and our weekly topic specifically is the benefits of chiropractic care for daily headaches. Let's set the stage a minute before we dive into this week's research. With the Smart Chiropractor, we'd encourage everybody who is not yet a Smart Chiropractor member to think about your content marketing, your free organic marketing, and your paid to a certain extent as well, in terms of annual, monthly campaign, weekly topic, daily post. That means you have an annual calendar, you have monthly content campaigns, you have weekly topics that tie into those monthly campaigns, and then daily posts going out across all of those high impact platforms. That's how we think of it. That's how we reach 50 million plus people each and every year on behalf of our Smart Chiropractor members. It's by having a system and a strategy. Now, with that strategy comes our monthly campaigns. Our monthly campaign is all around headaches this month. And our weekly topic is one aspect, if you want to think of it, or one take on that monthly campaign. Our weekly topic is the benefits of chiropractic care for daily headaches. So all of our docs have blogs, they have video scripts, they have videos, they have social posts, they have emails, you name it. They have a ton of content going out around this topic. I like to spend a few moments touching on, I'm going to say, the doctor version, because there is a difference between doctor speak and consumer speak. We like to take the research, what we call the content, put it into the context. So consumers, people in your community, can easily understand what's going on. But on the show, we like to talk at that physician level. So what are the key components tying chiropractic care, daily headaches, and benefits? There are a few things. And a lot of this stems from movement. We know 20% plus of headache sufferers struggle with tension-based headaches, and a preponderance of those are cervicogenic in nature. A lot of that comes back to daily habits, not only what you're putting in your body. Is it inflammatory? Is it not inflammatory? That balance. There's a hormonal component that also, of course, ties into what we eat to a certain degree. And certainly all of this ties into how we're moving our body, specifically with the cervicogenic headaches. So chiropractic care can have a big impact for a few different reasons. And this week, our weekly topic breaks some of these reasons into consumer speak. I'll just break them down a little bit more at the professional level. Number one, it comes down to a holistic view of the person. There's a lot of dynamics that go in to daily headaches. And quite frankly, there are millions of people, and we take one step back, there are millions of people that literally struggle with daily headaches. As chiropractors, we might not believe that because probably we're doing more of the right things. We're getting adjusted. We're eating, drinking enough water. We're moving around most of the day. But literally millions of people each and every day at noon are taking NSAIDs because they have a headache that comes on by 1 p.m. every single day of their life. It's crazy, but it happens. We can be a solution to that. And the solution starts with identifying that taking a holistic approach to care is critical. Many people, they split this up. Is it just what I eat or is it how I move? It's everything. There's no other provider that is going to take a holistic view than us. So being able to educate and inform people that everything that they do contributes to this challenge, and everything that they do can help drive them further away from this challenge. It's not normal. And if they do the right things, if they establish the right daily habits, if they understand that how they think, how they move, and what they eat all play a critical role, nobody else is going to talk about that except for a chiropractor. That can be a huge impact point. Second component, of course, are the care we provide. So getting in there with movement, encouraging movement that's holistic in nature, regional movement, of course, getting in segmentally. If somebody has a locked up joint, if they are not moving optimally segmentally, that tells us that there's going to be extra stress and strain. Not only is there going to be compensation patterns of movement, but there also is going to be limited motion in the facet joint. There's going to become sensitization over time. There certainly is going to be a local and a peripheral impact when a joint's not moving appropriately. If somebody's sitting all day, is super stressed out and dealing with daily headaches, I can nearly ensure that they have some areas of their spine that are moving suboptimally. So getting in there, addressing obviously the segmental biomechanics, but also the impact that makes on the peripheral and central nervous system, critically important. Biochemical marker changes, reduction in sensitization, pain gating, all of those things really matter on top of just the biomechanics alone. And the third component of this that I think is important for all of us to really highlight is the hope and encouragement that this is not a lack of medication in their system, but this is really something that they have the ability to take control of with the decisions they make and the care that they receive and the daily habits that they have in their life. They can make a substantial impact, and living on NSAIDs is not something that nearly anybody on planet Earth, I'm sure there's a couple exceptions, not anybody on planet Earth needs to do, let alone the tens of millions of people that deal with daily headaches that are pumping these things down with their lunch each and every day. They're going to pay the piper eventually for those decisions, and it is our job, our responsibility, and I'm going to say our passion quite often to get out there, become that intervention, help people find a better way. So getting out there, having conversations around headaches, empowering people with the knowledge they need to have, and inspiring them to take action. some of the most important things we can do. Jason, I kind of went off there for a moment, but any thoughts on headaches, chiropractic care, and why this is such a critically important message for our docs to get out there?
It really is a critical message, both for those people that have headaches and for the people in their lives. It reminds me of that cartoon I once saw of the woman standing in front of the chiropractor explaining when the chiropractor asks, where do you think your headaches are coming from? And she responds with, it starts in my husband's low back. It comes out of his mouth. It goes in my ear. And that's where I think my headaches are coming from. So it may not just be the person who's experiencing them. It may be people coming to your office for other reasons, not knowing that headaches are something that are often affected positively when people take care of themselves, get well adjusted, stay well aligned, and get connected. So great topic. Again, the idea here is to keep on sharing different campaigns every month, different topics every week. That is the curriculum to teach and invite consistently. You teach them about headaches, you invite them to take a next step in your practice, and of course, you do it consistently. That is the hard part. One of the things we say as we close up is the key to success is consistency. And the key to consistency is automation. If you want automation, the Smart Chiropractor is the smart way to automate your content marketing. So great topic once again. Stay with us each and every week so you can stay up on what we're talking about, what hundreds of smart chiropractors are talking about, and what you could be talking about too.
And if you'd love to learn more, head over to thesmartchiropractor.com. Again, that is thesmartchiropractor.com. We build the content campaigns, and we also automate them through all of those channels you need, your social channels, email, and of course, some of that patient education so that it guides your patient through what we like to call a smart patient journey. That's the goal. You can check it all out at thesmartchiropractor.com. Now let's head over to our member highlights. Let's see some of this in action with member highlights on today's show. Welcome to Member Highlights on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. This is our opportunity to see the Smart Chiropractor and our docs, more importantly, in action. We think in terms of those monthly campaigns, weekly topics, and daily posts. Today, we're going to take a look at Dr. Dave Kauffman of Kauffman Chiropractic, and he has been utilizing YouTube for a while. We're going to take a peek into one of his YouTube videos. It literally was posted a few hours ago today. So Dr. Kauffman utilizes our video scripts, and he has continued to improve shooting videos, getting out there on YouTube, and really building an audience of people, which is what this is all about. He is, as I like to say, proactively answering the questions people in his community have about their health by leaning into the tools and resources we provide him each and every week via his Smart Chiropractor membership. So let's take a look at Dr. Dave Kauffman. This video is about 2.5 minutes long. You're going to see what we call a Research That Matters video in action with Dr. Dave Kauffman.
Hi, Dr. Kauffman here with Kauffman Chiropractic. And today's topic is, what is sciatica? You've probably heard somebody complaining about their sciatica or their sciatic nerve problem. So we're going to clear up what exactly that is and what things can really be done for it.
All right, let's talk about the sciatic nerve. So you have nerve roots coming out of the lumbar spine and the sacrum that converge together that form your sciatic nerve. So it forms right in here, and then it travels down your leg, and it goes all the way down the back of your leg, and it has branches that branch out along the way. Symptoms of sciatica can be anywhere from where the sciatic nerve starts up here, all the way through the thigh and the leg, even wrapping around into the front and the side and down the leg, and all these branches can give you symptoms in different areas. Those symptoms can be sharp shooting pain. They can be tingling, numbness, cold, hot, any kind of weird feelings going on through the leg. We usually know that's coming from the sciatic nerve.
What can be done for sciatica? So that all depends on where the nerve pressure is coming from. So if the nerve pressure is coming from the lower lumbar spine here, if it's coming from a disc that's putting pressure on the nerve there, we can use techniques like our flexion distraction table or a decompression table that help to open up those disc spaces and take pressure off of the nerve at the origin of the of the nerve compression there. Another spot is the SI joint. If it starts to put pressure or irritation down on the sciatic nerve where it comes out of the notch there, then we can do adjustments there to relieve pressure there. Or if it's coming from the muscle groups that connect over from the sacrum and the pelvis over to the hip, and those muscles are putting pressure on the sciatic nerve where it comes out there, then we can do muscle techniques to relieve that pressure. I hope we cleared up any confusion about the sciatic nerve, about sciatica, and what kind of treatments can be done for it. If you or someone you know has sciatic nerve symptoms, please give us a call at 513-444-4529 or visit our website at kaufmanchiropractic.com to set up a new patient visit.
All right, and that was Dr. Dave Kauffman of Kauffman Chiropractic, just doing a great job of teaching and inviting consistently, showing up, providing really high quality education. And if people in his community are going online, they're searching for answers, and he shows up and he can build trust in that fashion, that's going to go such a long way towards building a health tribe of people who know him, who like him, who trust him over time. And he has been showing up and continuing to shoot videos like that. He's added some graphics, you could notice as time goes on. He's added some of the animations and graphics, stepped up that production a little bit. But the core essence and what I love about what he's doing is utilizing that strategy of teach and invite consistently. He's showcasing the education on the front end. He's then providing an opportunity to connect on the back end. And he's showing consistency when doing it, Jason.
Consistency is the name of the game. It reminds me of our recent guest, I think last week, on our new podcast, Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor. You can find it on Apple and Spotify. Again, that's Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor. I believe it was Grant Elliott who's teaching all about sciatica and low back pain, specifically, I'll dare say exclusively. You go, well, that's all he teaches? Yep, but he does it consistently. And he actually has a practice that works with people around the world virtually. It is the type of practice you could be running yourself if you wanted to, but it is what we think of as a Roger Bannister moment, someone who is doing what's possible. Roger Bannister, of course, being the first person to break the 4-minute mile as we know it, as it's been recorded. And although it took many, many, many years before any human could actually run that fast, once people saw it was possible, it was only 46 days before the next person did it. And that's why we really feature these member highlights, is for you to go, well, I don't know. Is it really possible? Is anybody really making money doing this? Is it really that easy? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to do it. But when you see other people doing it, when you see them starting off, putting in the work, we've shown some people a couple times now, the first time you've seen them do it, it wasn't quite as good as the later ones they did later on. And it's just the natural process. Nobody does their best work their first time. It is with the consistency, not only that your audience grows, your audience gets smarter, but that you get better at presenting over time. You can only do it by putting in your reps. That's how it works. He's doing a great job, and we want to encourage others to do what Dave's doing and all the others. So keep an eye out. Our Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor podcast is the place where we really go into depth highlighting many chiropractors who are doing it. You go, can chiropractors really do it? Yes. Go to that podcast. Again, iTunes or Spotify. You will see week by week different examples of all-stars we're highlighting. Grant has, I think it's over 250,000 Instagram followers. That didn't happen in a day or a week. It happened with consistency. You'll see others that we have coming up that have a multi-millions on TikTok, multi-hundred thousands on Instagram. It's not just one guy, one time, one place. It is a formula that works if you implement it. These ladies and gentlemen are implementing it. You'll see great examples of it. If they can do it, you can too.
That is correct. Great job, Dr. Kauffman, getting out there, teaching and inviting. As Jason said, if you have not checked out Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor, be sure to do so. And speaking of interviews, man, we're just tying this all together. Total professionalism here. If you're speaking of interviews, we're going to head over to our featured guest segment on today's show. Welcome to the featured guest segment on today's Smart Chiropractor show. Jason, I had the opportunity to sit down with somebody that Jason has known for a little while, well over 10 years, maybe close to 20 here. Over 20. All right. And I have also known for a few years myself, Dr. Stephen Franson, founder of The Remarkable Practice. And in our interview, we discussed the 4 seasons of chiropractic practice. He is a great presenter, awesome communicator, and this is a powerful interview. If you have not thought about the seasons of practice, I guarantee you're going to learn something new that you can apply to how you think about the business of your practice after this interview. So without further ado, here is Jason and myself's interview with Dr. Stephen Franson. Hey, Smart Chiropractors. Welcome to the Smart Chiropractor Show and our featured guest segment. Today, we have a very special guest, somebody that I am happy to call a friend and one of the smartest minds in business in and around chiropractic, head coach and CEO of The Remarkable Practice, Dr. Stephen Franson. Thanks for taking a few moments today, Stephen.
What's up, Dr. Jeff? Always a pleasure. As I said, when I saw your name on my calendar today, I had a big smile. Always loved connecting with you and your audience, man. And if I'm going to be on here today as the man from representing Boston, we have to call it the Smart Chiropractor today for the rest of the call.
We can do our best. we can do our best. And part of being smart is having a trajectory for your business. And this is an avenue that you've spent a lot of time and thought and, in my opinion, developed a really unique model of how docs can think about their career trajectory and how they can elegantly go throughout their business processes and have something of value at the end. You call it the 4 seasons of practice. Let's pick it up right there. For anybody who maybe has not heard this concept before, what are the 4 seasons of practice and how did you begin to think about the concept early on?
Yeah, just like all things, we scratch our own itch, right? So in The Remarkable Practice, we have doctors who come to us in every quote unquote stage of their career or, level of career. What we lacked was a construct. We lacked a way to organize, our clients, our content, our coaches, right. And all of our communications. And frankly, I looked around and was like, chiropractic's missing this construct, this language. So we actually developed the concept of the 4 seasons, right? So the 4 seasons of the chiropractic career. I think they're really self-explanatory because whenever I share it, eyes close and heads nods and people smile like, yeah. So there's 4 seasons and I'll say available to the chiropractor for their career. And the progression is launch, build, scale, and exit, right? So as you probably fill in the blanks in your mind, launch is the first year out in practice, right? So where you're just trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure out how to be a doctor. You're trying to figure out, how to be a practice owner, right? So maybe you're starting to learn how to market or how to communicate to your patients or, really start to maybe even hire some people, right? So that's that first year out and that's launch, really just trying to figure it out. The second year and beyond is build, right? So as you move into your second year, you're an established practice. You might spend 2 years here, you might spend 42 years here, right? So, but this is where you are trying to optimize, right? So it's about optimizing your practice, like we call it the practice systems or the practice domains: attraction, conversion, retention, team building, collections. It's all about optimization. It's an awesome season, Jeff, but it's got a big but. You're an owner operator, right? So you don't own a business, you own a job, right? So there's a big trade-off there, which I'm sure we're going to double back and speak to, right? So when you take that job and you turn it into a business, right, that's when you move into scale, right? And this is when you've hired another associate doctor. So when you go from being owner operator and bill, where you're the only doctor that's delivering healthcare, then you make the shift from, laborer to leader and you hire other associates, 1 or 2 or multiple, or have multiple practices and become an enterprise. This is when you go into scale, right? So this is when you stop building through brute force and you start building through leverage, right? You start leverage other systems and people and technology. This is the scale season of the career. And then, you go from, being that owner operator who has to carry everything on their back where you're head down, bum up, to really leveraging associate doctors, which is probably a good place for us to spend some time today because that's a tough one, right? So getting that right. And then finally that accomplishes what we all want, which is levels of scalability, levels of durability, and then eventually transferability, right? So scalability means you can do more, give more, love more, serve more. make a bigger impact and make a bigger income, but it doesn't have to all be done by you, right? And then durability implies that you can give more, love more, serve more, make a bigger impact and a bigger income, even in your absence, Jeff, right? So it means clawing back your time freedom, freeing yourself up to do the things that you want to do, that you're uniquely qualified to doing, whether that means more leadership time for you, like as a CEO, or doing more marketing or more conversion, training and developing your team, et cetera. That creates durability, but it also allows you to get time freedom for, dare I say, work-life balance, right? So you know my position on that, but it's like clawing back your evenings, be home for dinner time, bath time, bedtime, maybe even go on vacations, right? So, and the place doesn't grind to a halt, right? So as you can hear in my voice, this is my favorite season, right? Scale. And then transferability, which is eventually you're going to be selling your business, right? So, you know what they say, the best time to plant an oak tree 50 years ago, the next best time today, right? Start today to build an asset that people will compete to buy, right? So building a business where you'll be able to make a successful exit, right? In other words, making a graceful and profitable exit. Yeah. Graceful meaning that there's somebody there to take care of your patients, that your team has a place to serve the mission, and it's business as usual after you retire and the business doesn't retire with you, or you don't end up with a fire sale, right? You want to be able to optimize that sale price and have the peace of mind knowing that your people are going to be well taken care of. So launch, build, scale, and exit. That's it in a nutshell, Jeff. 4 seasons of the chiropractic career.
I love that framework because it can resonate with every doctor. Every doctor is going to go through that. One of the things that you described that I'd love to dig into a bit is the build section. There's a lot of docs out there listening and watching as we're talking that they might be 5 months or 50 years into build. And I know you have frameworks and architecture around, and maybe you could throw out a tip or two at a high level. This is such a deep topic, but the docs that are struggling in build, they want to scale, but man, it just seems like it's an insurpassable mountain that they are unable to climb. What are some of the greatest challenges that docs either deal with in build, and or what are some of those potential avenues that they should look for to help them accelerate that progress?
It's a great question because most doctors find themselves in this space, right? So, when you look at the 4 seasons, we'd love to say we all just go beautifully through all 4 seasons, like this nice linear upward trajectory, this sexy climb to glory, but the truth is we all know that this road can be really bumpy. And there can be what we call gaps, right, along the road. So, and there's, gaps come in lots of sizes and flavors, right? But there's some really common ones, like in launch, very often the gap is the money gap, right? So it manifests a lot of ways, but a real common way is like people get stuck in like this almost eddy, right? So if you, for example, you have no money, so you don't do any marketing to generate the new patients that you need to create some revenue. So you have no money, so you do no marketing, so you have no new patients, and you can see where that can be this vicious cycle, right? So they can get stuck in that, what we call the money gap, right? So, there's certainly ways to get on the other side of that thing. So outside of the scope of this conversation, but then you move into like build the really super common gap that we'll see is, man, the team thing, right? That team mystery. It's really hard to put together a world-class team, right? So this is my favorite subject matter, honestly, because business building is team building. Team building is business building. All right, you can't separate them, regardless of where you are in business or what industry you're in. Yeah. So I'm super passionate about helping people put together world-class teams because not only is it where growth lives, it's where joy lives and fulfillment and peace of mind, et cetera. So if you get into the team gap, you're having trouble finding and hiring and onboarding and keeping A players, right? So what ends up happening is you end up either settling for B and C players, and if you do have any A players, they don't tolerate B and C players, so they drop out, or the B and C players drop out, and you end up with this turnover, right? Which is brutal. It's painful, right? So everybody hates this process, the concept of like, the only thing worse than losing a great player is keeping the wrong player. Right. It's like it's an awful thing, right? So that's where you run into this team gap, right? So as you know, Jeff, you've spent enough time with us where we teach there's an equation as a chiropractor to building a world-class team. It sounds simple because it is, but it's not easy. It's wicked hard to do, right? So it's getting the right people in the right seats, doing the right work the right way. And we call that the 4 rights, right? So the essence of this thing is those right people, making sure that you get those A players that share your core values and buy into your vision story, get them on your team. Then if they don't meet any of those 3 criteria, it's a non-starter. You just do not move forward because you're just inviting pain, right? So you can either bring on A players that share your core values and buy into your vision story, or smash your head against the wall. Your choice, right? So once you bring them on your team, no compromises, no stories, right? No excuses. You move them into the right seats or right roles or the right function of your business, right? So when you start looking at your business like it's almost like a sports team or it's a band, right? So I know you're a musician, Jeff. It's like you don't want to put the guy on that plays the keyboards at lead singer if he can't sing, right? So it's like, you've got a drummer, you've got a lead singer, you've got somebody on backup vocals, right? Somebody is slapping the bass, right? So you've got, each one of these roles calls for a very specific genius, right? So you want to make sure you get the right people in the right seats so you can make beautiful music. Otherwise, it's a disaster, right? Then it's getting them to focus on the right work, right? So maybe it's the right song list or the right sheet music, right? Like get everybody focused on the right work, like what's most important now. And then, of course, it's getting them to do it the right way, right? So which is training or practice, right? So just like a musician, right? It's all about practice, 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 right? So right people, right seats, doing the right work the right way. So that's, that's how you get on the other side of this people gap, right? So the team gap. If you get it into scale, this is when you've decided, I'm going to take my job, turn it into a business. All right. So it's time to bring in an associate or associates, right? So I can create that, not just scalability, but durability, where I can continue to go and grow and add value, even in my absence. I'm going to mitigate my risk of exposure being the only doctor in here. And I'm going to free myself up so that I can do the things I'm uniquely qualified at doing and also get my time freedom back, right? Which is really the big one in this season.
Yeah.
So the team gap is one thing. An associate doctor gap is another thing. So, frankly, we're terrible at this generally as a profession, right? So shamefully, 67% of these associate doctor relationships fail. And that's a horrible statistic, right? That's a horrible metric, right? So I recognize that, man, this is wicked hard, but it's worth it, right? The juice is worth the squeeze, because when it's done right, I like to say this is the ultimate win-win-win, right? So it's a win for the associate, it's a win for the owner, and it's a win for chiropractic. And when it's done right, this is the ultimate lose-lose-lose. It's a lose for the associate doctor, it's a lose for the owner that hired the talent, and it's a lose for chiropractic. This is a black eye for chiropractic. So, I'm super passionate about chiropractic, and I know what's good for chiropractic is good for business. So, we set out to slay this dragon and get this right. I had 39 associate doctor relationships, and I won't tell you I was 39 for 39 and awesome home runs, but I teach from scar tissue, Jeff. I mean, I've screwed this every way up to Sunday, right? And now figured it out, replicated it, and now I've taught hundreds and hundreds of practices on how to do this right. So getting the associate doctor piece right is wicked hard, but it's worth it.
There's no question about that. And there's a million directions I want to go with you right now. But one of the things that you brought up that I think would be very impactful to dive a little bit deeper into is you mentioned having in the build phase, having that vision story, understanding what your practice is about so you can bring in the right people. And I find that there's a lot of young doctors out there, and quite frankly, a lot of seasoned doctors as well, that maybe haven't refined yet the vision of their practice. It's sort of, there's cats all over the place and they're trying to herd cats, or the inmates are running the asylum and they don't have a great vision and mission for what their practice is about. I know this is a foundational element of, as you begin in the remarkable practice, understanding what that is so you can build from it. But could you perhaps either elaborate on or offer some advice out there for docs who really haven't crafted the vision and mission of their practice? So they're like, I'd love to hire the right people. I don't even know who are the right people for my practice because I haven't defined what I'm really looking to do yet. How does somebody get started and out of that rut?
It's the most important question, Jeff, right? So, I call this the end of the driveway question, right? So when you come to the end of your driveway, you get an option, you turn right or turn left. If you were supposed to go left and you go right, you could do everything right after that, but you're just not going to end up where you want it to be, right? So this is like the most important upstream question, is to get really clear on exactly what are you trying to accomplish, right? So, when doctors come to us, either in the remarkable practice or in Chiro Matchmakers, they're coming, hey, I want to bring on an associate. What do I need to do? Like, hey, I'm thinking about bringing an associate. I'm like, okay, time out. That's awesome. Okay. but this is wicked hard, right? So it's hard, but it's worth it, right? So we got to do this right. So the first step is critical. To your point, is vision story. Like, what does success look like to you? And people will roll their eyes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, do you recognize that unless you have clarity around exactly what a win looks like? Do you know that's almost impossible to achieve that? Like, if you don't know what you're trying to accomplish, it's like trying to build a house and you just buy a bunch of lumber and some hammers and nails and, just start throwing things. You have got to have a super clear picture of exactly what you're trying to accomplish, right? Because, there are elements to this that will inform exactly who you should be hiring, right? So, at the end of the day, they're like, they're just trying to find a warm body who has a license, who's interested, who's willing. They're not a felon. You're hired, right? So that's a terrible way to do this, right? So we want to make sure that we're really clear right out of the gates. The most important question is, what are you trying to accomplish? So let's do a quick exercise, Jeff. Yep. This is fun, right? So I already know the answer to the question, right? So here's the quiz. Ready, gang? Yep. And if you're driving, you should pull over and participate in this. This is like the most important. This is the $1 million question. And I say that like laughing, but as well as I do, if you get this right, it's $1 million reward, right? So there's a $1 million opportunity here, but every year. This is no joke, right? And if you get it wrong, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's not even including the opportunity lost, right? So this is literally the $1 million question. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, what do you want out of this? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you want? And here are your 5 choices. So pick one, okay? Is it impact? Is this like a purpose, mission, that you want to make a bigger impact, right? Or is it income, okay? Is it, I want to grow because I want to make more revenue, right? So I want to make more money, right? Or is it freedom? Are you trying to free yourself up so that you can, do something else? And maybe inside or outside the practice, but is it time freedom? Are you trying to claw back your time, right? So, or number 4, is it peace of mind? Okay. And by peace of mind, what I mean is you have a point of exposure. If you're the only doctor in there, ask anybody who, for whatever reason, was unable to practice on Monday, right? So if there was an injury or an illness or some family dynamic or something happened where you couldn't practice, right? That's a point of exposure. Or number 5, is it legacy? Are you looking for your successor, right? So pick one. I'm not saying, like, the reason I said I know the answer is because I've asked this question to 1,000 chiropractors, right? And they go, I want all those. I'm like, okay, we all went to chiropractic school, right? So it's like, it wasn't a 6, all the above, right? It is multiple choice, but it is not all of the above, right? So you literally have to go into this eyes wide open, Jeff, because, you're going to use your money to buy somebody's time, energy, focus, and talent, right, to accomplish one of those, okay? And that is going to inform your process of even beginning to select who is the right match for what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I absolutely love that bit. And a bit of advice, it's so key. Docs, rewind, listen to that again. You only get to choose one. It is important to be able to set that vision, understand what you are really striving for. What are you looking for? What's your vision? And then you can take the steps to get there. Stephen, I know we are going to be up against the clock, but there's one question I want to get in before we wrap. There are many docs out there that I've watched that begin coaching and they accelerate dramatically the progress of their practice, the results that they get. There are other docs out there that maybe haven't heard of any chiropractic coaching organizations. Maybe they think it's not for them. They're sort of struggling. They don't know what to do, who to choose, how to make the right decision. As somebody who's been involved in coaching for quite a long time, and I'll attest to the fact that I see the results of it in so many practices, for the docs out there that this is a new concept, or maybe they've even said, hey, that's not for me in the past, what would you offer them in terms of advice or maybe thoughts to think about as they go about their own career journey through those 4 seasons of practice? And when would potentially the right time to begin exploring coaching be for many chiropractors out there?
It's a great question, Jeff. So, I'll go back to my, I was a practicing chiropractor for 23 years, right? So in the trenches. And I always said to patients, listen, everyone needs a chiropractor, but I'm not everyone's chiropractor, right? So, at the end of the day, it was, what are you trying to accomplish? It's just such an important question. It's always such a great answer, right? So I almost always answer those types of questions with, I don't know. What are you trying to accomplish? It's just like with the associate doctor questions, like, oh, who should I hire? I don't know. What are you trying to accomplish?
Right.
Is it impact? Is it income? Is it freedom? Is it peace of mind? Right? Is it legacy? What are you trying to accomplish? Let's start there. The punchline is you're going to be able to have all the above, but you have to have a touchstone. You have to have a North Star to guide your decision-making process. And it's the same way when you're selecting a chiropractor. What are you trying to accomplish? Because there's lots of flavors of chiropractors. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? And they all add value, but the doctors have a different objective based on their art, science, and philosophy. It's like, what are you trying to accomplish? And it's so critically important that you're aligned with your chiropractor so that it's not a stressful and frustrating situation for both of you, right? Same thing when you're choosing a coach, Jeff, right? So ultimately, you've got to walk into that arena with your eyes wide open and be super clear around who's the best coach for you or what's the best coaching organization for you. I don't know. What are you trying to accomplish?
I love that answer. It is transparent and it is clear and direct. Stephen, thank you for being a friend of mine. I always learn something every time we chat, whether it's in a more formal situation like this or whether we're kicking around a few beverages and having some fun. It's all fun. But for many docs out there, this might be the first time that they have heard your name. You've been super generous to provide a gift for these docs. We'll drop that link down below. But for any docs out there, and I'm going to encourage all of them to check this out, where can they learn more about you?
Yeah, so for docs who are really interested in, a couple of things that we talked about today, regardless of how you practice, you want to learn how to put together a world-class team, right? So, we can help you do that. You want to learn how to create scalability. You want to create durability. I think we're uniquely qualified to do that. And you're trying to figure out the associate doctor piece, or maybe you're preparing your practice for an exit. It's like, we would love to help you reach your goals and get what you want out of that, right? So if that's interesting to you, you can reach out to us on the Remarkable Practice Facebook page. We have a free group, Jeff, is a great place to start, right? So it's the Remarkable Practice group on Facebook. You can find me also on Instagram as drstephenf. And then, of course, you can go to the remarkablepractice.com website. Jeff, you're going to give away a chapter of a book. It's, I've got an ebook out. Of course, I've got the complete book here that you can get your hands on as well. So there's lots of ways to find us. And we would love to be able to, connect with you and help you get some clarity around exactly what you're trying to accomplish and how to get that done.
Thank you so much for taking the time, dropping some knowledge, and we had some fun in the process. I know we're up against it, Stephen. Thank you so much. We're going to drop those links down below. Docs, if you are watching or listening, click down below, pick up those tools and resources, become engaged, as we say with the Smart Chiropractor. Your results follow actions. Take the action step today so that your practice looks as you'd hope it would be tomorrow, next year, next month, etc. So, Stephen, thanks for taking some time. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, cool interview. It is critically important if you are considering growing to have a great team around you, whether that's coaching, masterminding. Being on a practice can sometimes feel like you're on your own island, and that can be perilous. So there's a variety of great resources out there for you. Remarkable Practice is one of those resources. Stephen has an awesome team of coaches with him as well. Jason, some thoughts?
Phenomenal guy doing phenomenal work, helping a phenomenal profession. It's really up to chiropractors to kind of find their mentor. Again, as Stephen said, what is it that you want to accomplish? If you want to build a team, you want to grow your practice, aka business, so that it's scalable, durable, and transferable. I know nobody better than Dr. Stephen and his team to help you go through and learn the process and implement the process. That's one of the great things about Stephen and his program is it's not just words, it's also the support and the help it takes to implement these ideas. Great guy, great stuff, great team, and always an honor. And I agree, I always learn from something from Stephen as well.
Well, we will drop those links down below as we head into our final segment on today's Smart Chiropractor Show, the Payday Practice segment. What? The Payday Practice segment? Yes, we have a new segment. It is coming up. We're going to be closing with the Payday Practice segment. Welcome to the Payday Practice on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. Jason, I'm going to bring both of us up on the screen side by side here. Today, we're going to discuss the Accelerator training, which is live right Now, docs, if you have not downloaded the Payday Practice book, please do so. That is step number one. We'll put that up on the screen momentarily, thepaydaypractice.com. Join 1,000 plus other docs who have. If you're serious about implementing in your practice the concepts, frameworks, and strategies that you're going to find in the book, we can help you get there faster. That's what the Accelerator training is all about. We'll dive into some of the details of what you get, but let's talk about why it's important. Jason, why is the Accelerator training so important for docs getting familiar with the Payday Practice mindset, concepts, and strategies?
You know, the book does a wonderful, masterful job of really kind of talking through, or obviously through writing, but going through the conversation of how to get from where you are to where you want to be, from likely some level of financial stress. Just about every chiropractor I know who has a transactionally based practice, no matter how successful it is, because even as income rises, so too do expenses. And so the key here is that it's once been said, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And if you have a transactional practice, then you're going back to zero in collections each and every month. And that is the hardest way to run a practice. So we will walk you through the ideas on how to change and shift or adjust your thinking from one of transactions into one of ongoing relationships. And when people want to have an ongoing relationship with you, that is when they are eligible for your memberships and or subscriptions. Now, many people are going to be able to read the book and go, I got it. I'll work through the worksheets. I'll go through them myself. I have enough experience or business knowledge, or I understand enough about the internet and social media, or I understand enough about subscriptions and recurring revenue to be able to implement these ideas yourself. But the probably overwhelming majority of chiropractors don't yet have that experience. And that's why we put this Accelerator training together. It's not just the information, it is figuring out, how do I make the right choices for me and my practice and my future, considering my philosophy and my unique approach and my specialty and the things I want to focus on both now and in the future. That is where it's good to have guides like Jeff and I, the people that wrote the book on the subject, help guide you through the pros and cons, the reasons why certain things have positives and the reasons why they may have some weaknesses. And if you're looking for long-term automatic revenue, then there is a specific pathway and process we recommend in order to achieve that. If you want to know what that is, that's why you want to probably check out the training program, is because over 30 days, you'll get a series of videos that will go into more depth on each of the chapters of the book. We'll go through the worksheets together, which is really where the rubber meets the road. What decisions are you going to make for your payday practice? And how are you going to both launch and grow your membership or subscription? If you want to talk it out, if you want the kind of, well, what about if I really want, and those are the questions you want to be asking yourself. Are you just looking to extend your current physical services? Are you looking to have a second source of revenue that is a recurring source of revenue, even if and when you have to close your practice, move from your practice, sell your practice, retire from practice? In the worst case, you get injured or something happens to you. What other sources of revenue do you have to support yourself and your family? That is one of the biggest issues all chiropractors face, unless you come from a trust fund or independently wealthy, or maybe got through the, as they call them, Mercedes 80s, and you invested in real estate or T-bills or other types of investments. You most likely are trying to figure out, how do I stay a chiropractor and yet build financial security for myself now and in the future? The 30-day Accelerator training program is your best option to get going and get going quickly so that you make the right decision. And that's one of the biggest issues here, and I think the most value to answer your question. Why do it? Because mistakes are expensive. And maybe we won't even call them mistakes, but not making the best decision you can might be expensive for you, because if you don't know the territory, if you don't know your outcome and your goal, and you don't know sort of the ins and outs of the area you are going through, you might want to have a guide help you to make sure you're making the right long-term best decision for you, your family, and your practice. You can do it. We can help. Jeff, I know we've recorded this already. The feedback has been terrific. We feel great about it, which is not easy for us to do. Both of us are so hard on ourselves. Our standards are high enough that we go, this better be great. And in this case, I really do believe it is.
I absolutely agree. And what I'm going to do for the docs listening and watching, I'm going to share my screen, Jason, and we're going to take a peek through the Accelerator training sign up page really quick. Docs, so if you want to head over there, you can see the smartchiropractor.com/thepayday_practice/training. We'll get you there. That's the screen that you see on your screen right now, and you can scroll on down. I want to hit a few of the high points so docs know exactly how we're going to help walk them through the process. So you can see here in the Accelerator training, which is over a dozen videos, we're going to help you set your vision and goals. We are going to talk about the options that you have, as Jason discussed. There you have a couple different options on how you can implement the Payday Practice concept in your practice. We want to help you define what's your dream. We want to help you build that health tribe, define what your offer is, and then get towards launch and sell. Those are really the 4 pillars that we're going to walk you through. And Jason, as I'm going to scroll through here, I'd love if you just want to describe for a moment or two here, when we talk about really, setting that vision, what's your dream? Why does that matter? And then I'm going to ask you one more follow-up on that, just to briefly describe the 2 steps. When we talk about the 2 steps towards having a payday practice, what are they? And I'm going to scroll through a little bit while you discuss that. Then I'll hop back in for some of the specific deliverables.
It's such it's a great question. It's a critical question for hopefully all of you to ask. I'm going to make a few assumptions here, and we know what happens when we do that, but stay with me. The idea is that you most likely had a vision or a dream when you decided to become a chiropractor. And most likely it wasn't because it was the best paying career on the planet, because it's not the best paying career on the planet. So I'm going to go with the assumption that you didn't become a chiropractor specifically and exclusively because you thought it was the best, most profitable way to make money. I'm going to go on the assumption that you did it because there's something about the chiropractic way of thinking and or something about the way in which you practice that you found inspiring, interesting. Somewhere, somehow, at some point, you made the decision to go to chiropractic school because you had a vision in your mind of what type of chiropractor you wanted to be and what type of chiropractic care you wanted to provide and what kind of chiropractic practice you wanted to build, own, and operate. You most likely started off with a dream or a vision. That's why we start off with, what's your dream? Let's get back to the motivating reason and factor that you made this decision to do this all together. And let's start there. And if you're like me, and I'll dare say like many chiropractors in our profession, you've unfortunately allowed the business, the need to make money, to hijack or steal your dream. So we're going to go back to basics and start with the most important part of all of this, which is, why did you do this to begin with? If you didn't need the money and you could practice any way you want because you could afford to do it, if you had that freedom, what would it look like then? And let's start with the end in mind, because you want to reverse engineer the type of practice you most want to be in for the long term. That's the main motivating factor and why we start with what's your dream. When it gets to the 2 steps, again, keeping it super simple so you understand the framework and you go, well, that's simple. That makes sense to me. I should be doing this. Then the 2-step process to think about is step 1, building your health tribe. That's what we refer to as your digital following, your audience, the people who are most likely on your email list, which you may go, what email list? The people you've taken care of previously in your practice, who most likely have email addresses somewhere in your EHR system that you should be connecting and communicating with on an ongoing basis. Now, I didn't say you should be advertising to them regularly. I didn't say you should be selling them regularly. I didn't say you should be spamming them regularly. I'm saying you should stay connected and communicate with them regularly. And as you know, if you don't already, in the book, you'll see it over and over and over again that our philosophy is to teach and invite consistently. And many chiropractors have stopped right there because they go, well, why would I put in all this time, all this energy, all this effort to teach people on the internet when there's only so many people on the internet that live near my practice? Why would I put that effort, energy, time, invest all of that into doing that, to teaching people around the world or across the United States? And that's where step 2 comes in. That's the answer to the question. Because when you have a membership and or subscription program, meaning even if they can't make it into your physical practice, when you also have the ability for people to learn from you, a knowledge membership, whether that's one-on-one, whether that's part of a group, whether that's live, whether that's pre-recorded, whether it is online or actual physical event. There are so many ways you can offer people access and knowledge packaged in a membership or subscription format. That is one of the many ways that you can be inviting the people you teach online who may not live local to continue to work with you and start paying you. And if you follow our recommendations, they'll be paying you monthly, which is where you start receiving monthly recurring revenue. So step 1, build your audience, build your health tribe. That's your email list from the people that have been in to see you. And it's the people on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever other social channels you enjoy that you want to teach consistently, then that is your health tribe. The number of people you can communicate with on a regular basis for free, who in fact want to hear from you because you offer value, not because you offer deep discounts only. That's the distinction. So if you know what your dream is, then you know who the people are that fit within your dream. When you know the type of practice, the type of technique, the type of chiropractor, the things you most are interested in teaching, you're passionate about it, you enjoy doing it. This should be a joy to do, and that's the point. If you don't feel joy in your practice, it's probably because you've started to need to do it for the money. Well, there's a solution for that. You can get back to the joy of loving what you do because the money is handled. That's the formula. Build your tribe and then invite them to some sort of ongoing relationship with you. Either, again, physical services in your practice. We refer to that as a proactive membership. Knowledge services and access to learn more and connect more with you. And the third type of option are what we refer to as subscribe and save supplements for those products that roughly 80% of the people in your practice are already buying, already spending money on, probably buying the lower quality, inferior products of the things that you would think of as your favorite. What's your daily supplement recommendations, whether it's a multivitamin, a green, whatever it may be, essential fatty acids, whatever it is, you have favorite things that your audience wants to know from you. That's part of being a doctor. Doctor means teacher. People come to you not just to be quiet, lay down, and let you adjust them, but they ask all these questions. We are at our best when we're answering those questions, oftentimes proactively as well, and then leading them to the best, your favorite recommended options, whether they're people, places, products, or causes that you often recommend. And if you want to start generating monthly recurring revenue doing it, then we recommend you use our Smart Care store system and recommend either our Basis Health Everybody Everyday supplements or any of the 10,000 different products that are available in our store system currently right now. So what's your dream? Build an audience, give them something that they can subscribe to or join so that they can keep getting results, keep getting access, and you can build your payday practice, which again we define as generating the monthly recurring revenue you need to cover your monthly recurring expenses so you can practice with financial freedom.
Indeed. Well said, Jason. I'm going to click over, share screen, and touch on some of the deliverables before we wrap today's show. And docs, everything that Jason said, please take it to heart. Really consider, when you are able to build monthly recurring revenue in and around your practice, it creates a tremendous amount of freedom, financial freedom. It could decrease your stress. Your business is just so much more stable. You get less of those ups and downs. But when you sign up for the Accelerator training, I want to highlight exactly what you will gain access to. You can see the URL up on the screen, smartchiropractor.com/thepaydaypractice/training. You will receive the Accelerator training. That is over a dozen videos that walk you through the entire process. Those videos also include worksheet videos. So you'll notice in the book, after every section is a worksheet. Those worksheets are your action items. They're what put the concepts into strategy. That's where the rubber meets the road. So we're going to walk you through exactly how we can consider building out those worksheets step by step, in addition to over a dozen modules. You'll also have access to a Smart Care store. That is hassle-free e-commerce, over 10,000 SKUs. It is where it's at. I mean, this is the future of where things are going. You're going to have access to your own personalized store. You get to curate your own products out of those 10,000. Money's deposited each and every night. Compliance is taken care of, drop shipped directly to your clients. And there's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but if you have a Smart Care store, we're also going to allow some wholesaling as well. So more news on that to come. But you're going to have access to a Smart Care store. You're going to have our e-commerce marketing kit. You can see some of the deliverables there. I'll hit them super quickly. Wellness surveys, scripting, social posts, email templates, social media guides, health trackers, tax sheets, and frequently asked questions, all part of that e-com marketing kit, as well as a proactive in-person physical services marketing kit as well. That's going to include the how-to guide, the email templates, the wellness surveys, the scripting, the text scripts, promotional flyers, social posts, video scripts, and much more. As we break out the deliverables in the Accelerator training, the value on that is just about $4,400. So $4,385. You're going to see all of these available within the store system on the Smart Chiropractor very soon. That's what it's going to come out to be. However, people who are really excited about getting involved, we want to work with you. So we're happy to hook you up with Supreme Deal. $499 will get you access to everything I just listed. That's going to be the training, the store, your own store, the marketing kits, and much more. Now that price is not going to last. We are discontinuing that price very, very soon, probably this week. So you will notice that change. However, if you are an early adopter, we want to reward people who are willing to take action. So we will hook you up with a Supreme Deal, as you can see, $4,400 basically worth of information, knowledge that can change your life. It's not about the price, it's about the investment in the transformation that will happen based upon what you learn and based upon the action that you take. Jason said it, I'll reiterate it. All the knowledge is in the book, but I know I have a lot of books, and I can guarantee you probably have a lot of books as well that have a bunch of great knowledge that maybe hasn't been put into action. That little bit of extra accountability, that little push, that little bit of tactical advice can go a long way. You're going to get a lot more than a little bit, because you're going to get everything you need, including the technology, including the marketing, including all of the videos to help guide that process to make it as easy as possible for you to implement and get trucking in 30 days. That is really our goal with the Accelerator program. So that's why it's called the Accelerator program. It's because we want you to be able to take action quickly and make decisions that lead to the results you desire. Jason, I'm going to go off screen share here. Let's get that out of the way. I'll bring us back up on the screen here. So both of us are here and we are there. So docs, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you've downloaded the book, thank you so much for doing so. The feedback has been awesome. If you haven't downloaded the book, do that first. Paydaypractice.com. You can download a free copy of the book. We're gifting it to everybody in our ecosystem, everybody listening and watching. That's our thank you to you. Thanks for paying attention. We're happy to hook you up with the knowledge. You'll see it on Amazon soon. If you'd love to take that knowledge and put it into action in your practice, there is no better way than the Accelerator training. You get access to that at thesmartchiropractor.com/thepaydaypractice/training. We'll get an easier link, but that's the place to start. And if you are wanting to take action, you're not going to let that long link distract you from it. So thesmartchiropractor.com/thepaydaypractice/training. That'll get you into the Accelerator. That'll get you everything you need to get up and rolling at a supreme discount that you will never see again. Jason, this has been another awesome show. We appreciate each and every doc tuning in and listening each and every week and the feedback that we're getting. And I'll repeat, if you are checking this out on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It helps us know that you're out there, and it helps keep you informed with every single segment that's produced. And if you're checking this out on social media, enabling that notification is a big deal. It helps keep you abreast every time we hop online and each and every time we release a segment. So if you don't want to miss anything in the future, curating your feed is what it's all about. Notifications makes it easy. Jason, closing thoughts on today's show.
Closing thoughts are, let's do it. There's very few chiropractors that are not going through some sort of chronic financial stress, and there's just no reason for it. You're not at your best as a person, as an individual. You don't like yourself the most when you're under stress. So your family doesn't love you the most when you're under stress. You're just not the best version of yourself as when you do have your finances handled. And that's the whole motivation behind this. This is not a money scheme, a make money thing. This is, let's handle the finances so that you can be the chiropractor you really want to be. You can be the person, the parent, the brother, the sister, the mom or dad, the son or daughter. You can be the best version of yourself. Nobody I know is at their best when they're under financial stress unless they love the stress and need that stress to work and motivate themselves even harder. It's the only time that you create an artificial struggle in order to motivate yourself to work harder. That's not what we're talking about. Most chiropractors, it's the chronic part that's the problem. If you use it to get where you want to go and then you're financially free, wonderful. But if you don't understand the difference between transactional money and recurring revenue, that is a magical understanding that will change your life forever. One last suggestion. Get an accountability partner. Find somebody to do this with. Make it fun. Make it a partnership. Make it a team effort. Whether it's somebody locally in your community or a chiropractor you went to school with or somebody that you know, do it with someone to help hold you accountable and to help you get the best results. Have a nice little friendly competition with each other. We push each other to be at our best, and that's the spirit of why you want to do this. Again, momentum matters, so you can sort of say, well, let me see what happens, and let me see if others can do it, and let me see. Forgive me, those are excuses. If you know that financial stress is an issue, there's nothing to figure out. Recurring revenue is a solution. It's just simple math physics. Generate recurring revenue to cover your recurring expenses. Nothing philosophical about it. That's just simply numbers. The question is, how are you going to do it? What choices are you going to make? And if you tend to get paralysis by analysis, wondering, should I, shouldn't I, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, then work with us so we can help you make those decisions, start taking action, get yourself an accountability partner, do it together, and both of you in the months and years to come will be very glad that today was the day you made the decision to have a better future, to take care of yourself and your family at a higher level than you have in the past, because you're doing something that makes, I want to say perfect sense. I guess I mean perfect dollars. You know what I mean. It's just time to take some action. This is a wonderful opportunity. Jeff, myself, and our team have invested years of our time and an ungodly sum of money putting all of this together. The book, the training, the e-commerce store, the supplements, the marketing materials, the ongoing access to keep helping you keep getting results. And we really want you to join us and take advantage of it. So, Jeff, those are my closing thoughts for today. I invite everybody to join us. We want to help you.
I could not agree more. First step is check out the Payday Practice. Second step is head over to the Accelerator training. And thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for being a chiropractor. Be sure to enable those notifications, subscribe, and check out the Interviews podcast. Is there a lot of content going out? Yes, because that's what we believe in, teaching and inviting consistently. So on behalf of Jason, myself, this awesome backlight I have going on, and our entire team, we hope you have an awesome week, and we will see you next week for another Smart Chiropractor show. Have an awesome week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching this video on the Smart Chiropractor. To not miss a single thing that's clinically oriented, marketing oriented, or more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel today.